Hey guys, what's up? It's Alec Torelli. Welcome back to Conscious Poker and the hand of the day, where I take awesome hands I played throughout my career and break them down here for you in short strategy videos. If you want more content like this, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Awesome content comes every week. This hand kicks off from Poker Night in America. Awesome high stakes televised cash game.
Telekinesis, Kyle.
I bet I
We're
can
playing
play this one.
25, 50, 100, 200. So we got 4 blinds in this game. I found myself in the cutoff with King 9 suited, and I opened to 600. Pretty standard open here. King 9 suited in the cutoff, 4 dead blinds. Definitely going to be opening this hand. Over to Kyle Bowker, a very solid pro in the second strat. So he's in the $100 straddle, whatever you want to call that, the first straddle. And he has ace-6 offsuit and goes ahead and makes a 3-bet here to 2,300. Now, I like his size here. Like, if you're going to be 3-betting out of the blind, out of position against a good player, you want to go bigger here. You really want to try and win this pot, especially with a hand like ace-6, right? You really don't want to get called. This hand plays pretty bad post-flop. You have a weak ace, you're unsuited, you can't make a straight. This is really one of the worst hands here to have out of position. So you're definitely going to want to go big here, maybe even go 3,000, just, hammer it home and try and win this pot, really force me to fold pre-flop. But I don't really love this hand to go with. I mean, if you had a suited ace like ace-4, that's a lot better than ace-6 offsuit, right? You can flop a straight draw. Maybe if the flop comes like 5-3, you can barrel with some equity. It gives you some justification to barrel on future streets. Also, you could flop a flush draw, and then you could play your hand super strong, right? It's kind of like the nuts. If you flop a flush draw on a 3-bet pot with a nut flush draw, you can kind of play that fast like the nuts. Ace-6 off, you just don't really have a lot going for you. So I don't love this hand here. Maybe if he thinks I'm really wide here in this spot, like I'm just raising with any 2 to steal all the blinds, maybe he can go for it and just try and win the pot. Again, I would probably go a little bigger here with this hand because it's just so bad. You really want to win the pot pre-flop. Anyway, Kyle makes a 3-bet here. Back over to me. I have King 9 suited. I like to defend my 3-bets. If I'm going to open here with like a decent hand and I'm in position getting a decent price, I'm going to be defending here. Like, I just want to be opening and then folding the 3-bets, double straddled pot. It's just not a great strategy overall, right? I'm in position. I can play this pot. We're deep stacked. Let's go. I call, we go heads up to the flop. Flop comes ace, 9, 8. I flop a backdoor flush draw, middle pair. He bets 1,800 here, which is pretty small. You're going to see these standard, what are called down bets, meaning people bet smaller on the flop than they do pre-flop. So they bet like a third, a fourth of the pot. They do that especially in situations where they're the pre-flop raiser or the pre-flop aggressor, and they want to bet a lot of hands. So for Kyle to bet all of his range here, or a lot of hands, he has to choose a very small sizing because it gives him a better price on his bluffs. It allows him to bet more hands, right? When you're risking less money to win a large amount of money, when you're risking 1,800 to win a pot of whatever, 5K, you can, that risk reward is more in his favor. So he can choose to bet more hands given the price he's getting on his bet. So he goes 1,800 here. You're going to see that all the time. He's going to be betting. Kyle's a very good balanced player. He's going to be betting 1,800 here with, ace king or like queen jack, like a complete bluff like queen jack with a gut shot, or a hand like ace king, and everything in between. So I don't really have much more information about his hand, but king nine suited here, I could definitely have the best hand. Maybe he has 9-10. Maybe I have him beat. Maybe I have him dominated. Maybe he has queen jack or 10-9 or jack 10, or even if he has ace 6, I pretty much have the odds I need to justify calling because I can win with a king or a backdoor flush draw or a 9. So pretty straightforward call here for me. You're not really going to see anything else. And we go heads up to the turn. Turn comes a great card for me, a king. And now he checks. So at this point, I'm thinking like, okay, what types of hands is he going to 3-bet pre-flop, bet the flop, and check the turn? Well, of course, I could be beat. He could just have ace, king, kings, or aces, and I'm just drawing dead. Fine. But I mean, he could have a lot of hands that I beat. And a lot of people love to 3-bet these small aces, right? So they like to 3-bet hands like ace 3, ace 4, ace 5, maybe even a hand like ace queen, right? Ace queen might play the hand this way too. So I beat all those hands. And frankly, I'm going to be calling this flop and bluffing this turn with a hand like queen jack, queen 10, jack 10, 6, 7, right? So it's a spot where I want to protect my hand, protect my bluffs by betting for value with a hand like king 9. And I also want to get value if he has a hand like ace queen. I mean, ace queen has a lot of outs. He can win with an ace, a queen, an 8. So like I want to protect my hand against him when he has a lot of outs against me, but I also want to get value. If he has a hand like ace 5, he's not just going to bet the flop and check fold the turn knowing that I could bluff here. He's going to check call the turn. So let's get value, right? So I bet 4,300. I don't really need to bet that big here because if you think about how many chips I have left, I only have 12,000 left after I bet 4,300 on the turn. So that allows me to set this up for a 1-2 punch. And that would be betting the flop, betting the turn 4,300. He's going to call. Pot's going to be 17K. And then I could jam the river if I get a favorable river for my hand for value. And I'm going to have about a 2/3 pot jam left on the river. So it's really a good way to set this hand up. So what you always want to be thinking, and I think the takeaway here, is you want to be thinking about how your bet size on the flop or the turn compounds and changes the pot size, and how that changes the relative amount of chips you have left relative to the pot, your stack to pot ratio. So I bet 4,300. He calls, which is pretty standard here from his hand, and we take a river. River comes in offsuit 10, and now he checks. So at this point, there's definitely some hands that beat me. He could have ace 10. He could have been slow playing. Like maybe he's slow playing a set of kings, something like that. Maybe. I think a lot of times that hand might just jam the turn, but maybe he's slow playing. That's possible. He could have a hand like ace 10, which is definitely fine. He's never going to really have a straight. He's not going to check call the turn with queen jack. That hand's going to either bluff the turn or check fold the turn. So I'm not really worried about that. But it's kind of a spot where like a lot of my hands completed. Like if I was bluffing with queen jack, I got there. If I had ace 10, I got there. If I had two pair or a set already, I'm already there. If I had 6-7, now I got there. So like it's not a spot where I'm not bluffing that often. So I kind of tank a while on this river here and think about like, okay, I think my hand is good. Like I think I have the best hand. A lot of times he's going to have a weak ace, like ace rag, which is what he has, or ace queen or ace jack. I don't block any of those hands. You know, I don't have a queen or a jack in my hand or a 5 or a 4 or anything like that. So, you know, makes it more likely he has those hands. And at the same time, I'm thinking like, you know, yes, I beat all those hands, but if I jam here, I'm not bluffing that often. So like, is he really going to call me with these ace queen, ace jack hands? If he's folding ace queen on the river, it's not really that great to jam, because it means when I'm getting called, he always has me beat. So you don't really want to jam into a range that's only calling when you're beat. At the same time, it's a little weak to check back 2-pair here. So I'm kind of like, oscillating back and forth between like what the theory says and what I think and exploitative and whatever. And I basically just decide he's a really good player. He knows if I had a bluff, I'm capable of bluffing. Like if I had jack 10 or queen 10, I'm going to bluff here. Like I'm not going to just check queen 10 and then, you know, let an ace win when I'm drawing dead. Like a 10 is never the best hand. A lot of players here will check a 10 because they just figure like, oh, I have a pair now. I have showdown value. You don't have any showdown value with a 10. If you have a 10, you're never good, right? Your opponent always has an ace or like a king or something like that. So a 10 is never good here. So if I thought he would think if I had a 10, I would bluff, and therefore maybe he calls me light. So I go ahead and jam it in.
Alex all in.
Kane really nails it on the head, the commentator, that thinking about this back and forth and really analyzing this hand very well. So shout out to Kane. And he tanks for a while, ultimately calls with ace 6. It's a really tough spot for him. You know, if he thinks I'm capable of bluffing with a hand like jack 10 or queen 10, you know, he's going to make the call here some of the time with a hand like ace 6. He doesn't block ace jack. It's almost better to have ace 6 for him than it is to have ace jack, because ace jack blocks some of my bluffs, or ace queen blocks some of my bluffs. I guess blocks some of my value too, so maybe that neutrals out. But at the same time, ace 6 doesn't really block any of my bluffs. It blocks some of my value with 6-7, so maybe he was thinking about that. He ended up opting to call, and this was a pretty sick hand. I won myself a really nice pot on this cash game.
I'm not very good. Just focus on it.
Oh, wow.
Hope you enjoyed this video. For more awesome content, subscribe to this channel. Also, head over to consciouspoker.com. Click on Alex Academy. We have an awesome cohort starting an 8-week program that runs once a year to help people turn their poker game into a profitable business or side hustle. So check that out. Also, more awesome content at consciouspoker.com that's evergreen, that's there year-round to help you on your poker game too. So I hope you enjoy this video. I'm Alec Torelli. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.